Hey you guys, how you doing? Welcome back. Welcome back to another session. And in fact, welcome back to Nicola Land. And today we are starting a brand new series. Yo, this series is gonna be so exciting. Well, I don't know exciting if exciting is the word, but it's definitely gonna be filled with information. And hopefully, I hope and pray they don't make me cry in this series. Let's welcome Angie back. And we have a brand new beautiful face. We have Kiana. Welcome. Alrighty, so I'm gonna let each of you, Kiana first. I'm gonna let you say your hellos. Welcome to my channel.
Hello, hello everybody. Thank you for having me. I'm just here to give information and I hope that it will be beneficial to somebody in the audience.
Lovely, and thank you for being here, Kiana and Angie.
Yeah, I'm here again to give you some more information and may you put on your listening ear and be receptive so that you can learn and pass on the information to someone.
Most definitely. Y'all heard it. Y'all need to share this information. Share the link with somebody. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We're starting off early. Today we're talking about the name of this series is Battered. And if you have battered, then this should already give you a hint into what we're talking about today. It's a serious discussion, and there is just a lot of information to be shared. So, yo, I'm all ears. I'm honestly all ears. Let's talk battered. Let's talk about abuse, Angie and Kiana. What is abuse? Let's start with you, Kiana. And before you jump in, we're talking about intimate partner abuse today, right? What is abuse as it relates to intimate partner abuse?
Okay, so abuse can happen in several different ways. There are different kinds of abuse. There's physical abuse, which is battering, as your topic is battering. There's sexual abuse, there's mental abuse, there's social abuse, there's so many different aspects of abuse. So it's not just one thing, it's a very broad topic, and we might not think it's as important because most times the focus is mainly on the battering, which is physical abuse. But social abuse is also as damaging as the battering. And while we go through the process of learning what battering, we'll understand that actually battering doesn't start first in the cycle of abuse. It comes after. There are certain things that has to happen to lead up to the battering stage. So I didn't explain what is abuse, but I just gave some different types of abuse. So maybe Angie can help me to give a definition of abuse.
Most definitely. So we're not going in any specific order, but let's hear from you, Angie. What is abuse?
Yeah, when you hear the word abuse, we often pause and think of pain, agony, brokenness, grief. That's the first thing that comes to my mind when you hear abuse. But when you talk about IPV, which is intimate partner violence, that's the violence that happens within romantic relationships. And it's all about power and control. And that in itself, it is sad because everyone's supposed to have the free will to move about, to be independent, to be loved, to be loved, and not to be hurt. And I stress on love because love is something that everybody needs. All of us look out to be loved. And if you are in a relationship where you feel unloved and you are being hurt, you are sad most of the time, then this is an unhealthy relationship.
Thank you guys so much. I feel like we started off on a very healthy footing. So we're talking about abuse or intimate partner violence. So why is it important for us to have this discussion? Why is it something that somebody my age, I've never even been in a serious relationship. It's not that serious, y'all. Why do I need to know about intimate partner? Why do I need to know about intimate partner violence for the single person?
Well, I think
Good.
Okay, so I think it's important as a single woman to know about intimate partner abuse because there are certain, like I said earlier, there are certain behaviors that one, I will not say a man, because battering happens with both men and women. The perpetrator, as we call them, can be both men and women. But we don't really speak about men being abused. Most times the focus is on women because it is something that happens more to women. But it is important as a young person or a single woman to know about it, because even when you're dating someone or you're getting to know an individual, there are certain behaviors that creep in, and you might think, oh, it's not that serious, or that person will change. As women, we like to say he will change, or those little things. So early on in a relationship or getting to know an individual, when you see certain behaviors or patterns from that individual, you could know, okay, this is a red flag. So I need to be cautious with that individual.
And
Yes,
we're
and the
talking.
signs you should look for. Sometimes we find it's trivial, but giving you a curfew. Why would you need a curfew? You know, telling you how much money I give you $20, so you're going to give an account of how that money was spent, and you need to bring the bill. And I'm sending you down the road. I sending the child with you down the road so the child could monitor. And you know what, that child becomes a reporter. Because when that child returns home with you, then the child is questioned. And sometimes you walk in town, you're seeing that relationship looking so nice, hands being held, and whoa, I wish I had a relationship like that, but that's only in the public's eye. You know what could be happening within that time? The abuser can be actually squeezing their partner's hand to conform to whatever they want at the time, but yet it looks, in the eyes of the public, it looks attractive, it looks very pleasant. You have the pulling of the hair, you have the stepping of the toes on. It is so much. That's just the physical I'm bringing out, because this is the one that is most prevalent, I should say, because that's what people know more of when they hear abuse. But it extends, and we will be touching on that sometime later. It extends to the emotional and the psychological, the verbal, the sexual, the economical, the social. And the social abuse is so dangerous that sometimes you are in it, the individual is in it, and they don't even realize that it is social abuse. Tell me, how much love would you feel if your spouse tell you, you don't have to work, I'll provide for you, I'll take care of you. Your family, if they want to see you, let them come over, but you're not going? Huh? Well, how does that look? It looks enticing. My spouse is taking care of me, my partner is taking care of me. But what you are not seeing further on, he is depriving you from social interaction, whether it be with your family, whether it's for you to gain independence. Because when you work, you meet people, you experience different things, and he is depriving you of having that joy to interact. So you see how sensitive the social abuse can be.
All right. So I feel like we've laid a few more blocks on this foundation. Yeah. Okay. I'm not crying today, I promise.
No.
So we're talking. I know the reason I chose battered, and I know it's a term that's used, especially to describe physical abuse. But when I say battered, I'm not even just thinking about, like, the battering. I'm thinking about a battered mind. I'm thinking a battered body. I'm thinking a battered spirit. I'm just thinking battered in a whole sense. So when I speak about abuse and I speak about battered in that relationship, so I just want to move away from the definition of what it is and just look at it from a holistic point of view. Now we're talking about this person who is in an abusive relationship, and you spoke about the signs. You said that there are different types of abuse. Perhaps in the next video we'll go more in depth with the different types of abuse and what it looks like. But today let's look at the impact of this abuse. How far does it reach? Is it just me? Is it just the household? How far does this person abusing me? What impact does it have, and how far does that impact does it go? We're gonna start with you, Kiana, and then we're gonna jump to you, Angie.
Okay, so the fact is, you're talking about intimate partner abuse. So let's just say that um, this couple they have children. It doesn't only affect the man and the woman and the children, but it also affects the extended family because everyone has a support system or should have a support system. So it really it's really messed up because it doesn't just stop with the parents or the siblings. There are friends involved, there are other relatives involved, and these children go to school. So you- it affects a wide variety of people because the way the victim receives the abuse, it affects everyone around him or her. And if there are children involved, then that child perhaps sees the violence happening or experiences it as well. So that also affects how they treat other young people or children as themselves, and it just spreads really to different people that they interact with, because now most times those children have different behavioral issues, and then they go to school and then the teachers have to deal with it, and it goes on to other kids. So it really affects everybody that this person comes into contact with.
Wow, talk about a pandemic. Let's hear you, Sister Angie.
Yeah, there is something called child witness when the children witness the abuse. Now sometimes we talk about bullying in schools, but it starts from the home because that's the only behavior the child has learned. So whatever is learned will be passed on. Then you have the community, you have the church. All of this is affected. Now, sometimes there is something called secrets in the family. And when it comes to IPV, people don't want to talk about it. They feel that it is a private matter, and sometimes they never seek help and they stay in that abusive relationship for years. Before it escalates, it starts with a bad word, it starts with a slap, it starts with an insult. And like we spoke about self esteem some time ago, this breaks your self esteem. Because if you keep hearing negative things all the time, every morning, every day, it's like breakfast, lunch, and supper, and snack as well. That is really going to have a negative impact on you. And then if you are working, when you go to work, then you isolate yourself, you feel so withdrawn. Because sometimes you know what happens? If you are, because I don't know, for some reason, the abusers attack the face, punch in your eye, give you a black eye, punch you on, take out your teeth. So what you do now, you put heavy makeup, you know, and just to protect so you could look beautiful. You try your best to smile, but beneath that smile, there is so much pain, so much pain. And when you're in that work, in the workforce, sometimes your colleagues try to reach out to you, but you know what is ahead. And the fear prevents you from opening up because they often tell you, if you tell anyone, I'm going to hurt you. Some of them go as far as telling you, I will kill you. Don't even get the police involved. It's a whole lot of fear that is being built in you and breaks down your self-esteem. And remember, you are cut off from your family, the social abuse. So there, you cannot go to your family, you cannot go to your friend. So it's only me you can come to. So I in charge. I am the authoritative one in your life. So I can do what I want with you and make you into what I want you to be. Isn't that damaging?
That is crazy. That is very damaging. Um, let's talk about who gets affected. If I'm in a certain social class, am I exempted? If I go to church, I mean, you all know I'm a church girl. Only good brothers in the church, right? I'm exempted. Who is exempted? Who could this happen to?
I think the saddest reality as believers is that we're prone to those things happening to us. That is just the sad reality. Just to touch on it a little bit, because like I said earlier, when you go through the dating stage, or you courting, or whatever stage you are as a single woman or a single man, a lot of times we see certain behaviors from individuals and we think it's okay. We say getting married will make it better, or we go to church and God and we praying and all of that. But the thing is, unless the individual does not see the need or doesn't realize that they have a problem, you cannot do anything for that person. So in church, we know that domestic violence is not something that is talked about in church for years. I mean, I've been in church all my life, and that's not something that is being talked about at all. We run away from that topic because, like Sister Angie said earlier, there are secrets, family secrets, and there's a shame that comes with intimate partner abuse. And not only the victim, but the perpetrator too. Because the thing is, most times the perpetrator puts on a facade to the public. He is the most loving man. He takes care of his family.
Oh, yes.
He's happy. He's the nicest brother in the church, or
Oh,
the
my
nicest
God.
sister in the church. But in the home, no one knows what happens in the background. So, we give people a lot of chances, and being married, or taking a relationship to marriage is not something that we should take lightly at all. And that's why a lot of emphasis as young believers, or just believers in general, we need to always allow God to make our decisions for us, because He can never go wrong.
Oh,
So when you also, we need to be educated about intimate partner abuse. So when you see those things, or you hear the way, because the whole idea of intimate partner abuse is control. That is what it's about. So when we know those behaviors and those things, we know, okay, I shouldn't go there. And let's not say we could help the person change. No, because I've learned that there's something called emotional blackmail. And now, whatever the person has, or however they're feeling, it is now transferred to you, and now you have the weight of feeling how they feel, and then sympathy, pity, all of those things come into play, and then you now feel like, oh my God, I'm the problem. And most times this is what happens to the victim. They think that they're the problem, they think that they're the cause of those things happening to them, and these things are real. And I think we need to really understand where it starts, and understand that you could be a lawyer, you could be a priest, you could be a pastor, and you could be as low as a janitor. It doesn't matter what your title is, it doesn't matter what class you are, it doesn't matter if you're a believer, non-believer, whatever role you class yourself in. None of us, unless we really pay attention to individuals, then we could avoid going down that road. But it can happen to anybody.
Wow, so you're telling me that if I go for the brother that always giving the great contributions on the lesson, I'm still not exempted. Sanji.
you have me cracking. No, it's not. We are not exempted. No one is exempted. Race, ethnicity, class, creed, no one is exempted. It is among everyone. But you see, the thing is, some of us are so subtle in our ways that you don't even see it. And the spouse, the partners go along with the flow, because if they don't, remember, they are threatened. They are always threatened. And you know the worst part of it is, if the abuse is impacted on one partner and never the children, and you decide to pick up and move because you have had enough. So you are going to go with your children because you love your children, and the children cannot understand, but how can mommy, and I'm speaking about the female, the caregivers, how can mommy take us away from daddy? Daddy treats us so well. Daddy gives us everything that we need and what we want. He gives us allowances. He takes us places, you know. But the funny thing is, he abuses the mother in the absence of the children. So the children can never see the monster, only the mother. And then, boy, I don't want to go on the effects of the children. This is so much, so much, so much to learn that you have to be guarded. And there is something called the profile of the abuser that you have to be very careful with. And sometimes it's the most handsome, the most intelligent, the most classy ones that are abusive, unfortunately. But that's the harsh reality. While it is among every race, but the harsh reality is the face, the mask I always talk about, putting on the mask and making you believe that everything is okay and you're dying inside. And when you hear that person commit suicide, you will wonder like, what? She was happy, she was always okay. No, inside was in a mess. Inside was in a mess. And that's what we call the emotional and the psychological abuse, where you can no longer make sound decisions. Your mental status is just confused and you have lost your way. And it takes someone to help you get out. That's why I always say support, support, support. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so I know it seemed like, I'm adding some humor to this, but this is obviously not funny. I'm adding some humor just to bring this along to, just bring the reality, because a lot of people think that they're exempted, they're okay. But in reality, there is no real exemption. I need to be just as careful as the next person. The person that looks the best, according to what y'all are telling me, could just be an abuser. So I think this is a good note to. I'm not sure we're ending this, because this is a long conversation that's just gonna take different parts. So we're gonna
Just before you close, I just want to just bring to the awareness before it looks like one-sided. But with intimate partner violence, it is more prevalent among women, but it also happens to men. But because of the men's ego, or sometimes society laughs at them to scorn, they feel embarrassed, they feel belittled, so they keep it inside. But it goes on both sides. Both sides.
Right. Thank you so much. Kiana, are there any last words that you want to share before we close?
Well, I just want to say that, like you said earlier, we might laugh, we might give jokes, especially as she said, men. There's the ego and they feel embarrassed. Like I said, there's a shame that comes with intimate partner abuse. And another thing I want to highlight is support, 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 support. It's quick for we're quick to judge the situation when we don't understand how impactful it is on the victim and even the abuser as well. But support is very, very important when it comes to intimate partner abuse.
Thank you so much. So, y'all, like I said, this conversation has only just started. It's gonna take on different topics. It's gonna take on different subtopics, in fact. But this is not the end of this conversation. Let me just thank everyone who took the time to watch this video. I am so, so grateful. Please like, subscribe, but most importantly, share the link. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. I know there is somebody who needs this information. And even the person you think that does not need the information, they probably do. So share this link, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.
Bye.